Hey everybody, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. You are here at Words of Wisdom Tarot with your hostess with the mostest, Wendy with an E. Your chakra expert teaching you how to manage your energies and get clarity and confirmation through your chakras. And for learning the language of how everything feels inside your body. It's a beautiful day here in Calgary today, as you can see, lots of sunshine. It's a little windy, it's supposed to rain. I don't know. Guess that depends on how much they mess up the skies today. We'll see. It was supposed to be like rain all day and now it's just scattered showers, so that's lovely. Anyway, a little housekeeping. Just remember, these are general readings. Take what resonates, leave the rest. I read for the feminine collective. And that means these do apply to men. However, I am reading directly for women. So, ladies, here we go. Also, I wanted to let you know that later this week, I will be putting out a video series of the basics of the chakras so that you can learn a little bit about the chakras. So when you come in and you are experiencing these chakra readings, you understand what I'm talking about and how this all applies from, not only just from a tarot perspective, but from an in your life perspective, and how you can utilize knowing what your chakras are doing to help you with your health and your wealth and all kinds of different things. So learning how to live your life through your chakras is actually very important as energetic beings. So, speaking of that, here we go. Root, sacral, solar, heart. Oh, gotta move them down just a bit. Throat, third eye, moving you down. Actually, I'm just gonna split them up a bit. We don't have to do it like that. Space is limited, All right, here we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, but ladies. So I'm going to just hold the card for a second and see what it's going to let me know. This is the root chakra card, so we're starting at the base. If you are watching this and as I say the words root chakra, you're feeling like a deepening, a heaviness in your hips or in around your anus, that is where your root chakra is. So if you're feeling pressure between your sits bones, if you're feeling anything in your perineum, that's your root chakra talking to you. Normally when you're grounded, you will feel yourself sitting more grounded. You'll feel like you're sunk into your chair and that something's pulling you down. That is your root chakra grounding you, okay? And this card is summoning power, instinct, intellect, and control. So when I think about this in terms of the root chakra, this is talking about the feminine collective. Oh dear. So what's going? So these are very powerful cards because they are also connected to the ancestors. These are the Priestess of Light Oracle cards, and they are definitely talking this morning. This is ancestral. This summoning of the power, ladies, is this rage that you've been feeling is not just yours. It is collective, it is generational, it is ancestral, and it is stirring up everything you ever believed about life, which is where this starts, is in the root chakra. All your beliefs about life start there, okay? This card, wow, it's giving me this. It's telling me a story that I'm having difficulty putting into words because energy doesn't, even though energy is my first language, translating energy into English is not my forte. Most of us struggle with it because there isn't language for what we're feeling. So, but what I feel is that there is this rage that is grounding women finally into their bodies. Instead of us running around all up in the ethers, all up in our heads, this rage has us pulling ourselves into our bodies, which is really connecting us all through our root chakras into the ancestral collective. And we are feeling all of that rage. But what that is going to do is going to cause change. So what I was feeling was like, right now there's a lot of anger, so much rage, and it's sacred rage is powerful. This is as we are all stepping into our dark feminines, because we need to, and the dark feminine is what they're all afraid of. Okay, this card has a lot to say this morning, so bear with me. Okay, so then we are going to, as a collective right now, we're raging. But what this is going to do is it's going to cause great change. So what I feel is like this rage comes in, but it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds and it swells. And then it starts to go and it starts to go up and it starts to go up. And then as it starts to go up, I start to feel this love and this light. And I don't mean love and light. I mean, I feel love and I feel lightness as this progresses. So the fracture that was created last week on Thursday when they dropped that report is going to create great change, and it's coming through the feminine collective. So if you feel like you're being pushed to change the world, you are. Okay? And I want to make it really clear that we all have masculine and feminine. The right side of our body is masculine. The left side of our body is feminine. Divine feminine lives in the sacral. Divine masculine lives in the solar plexus in every single human being. Okay? So if this is resonating with the femininity or the feminine side of men, great. But women, if you're angry and you don't know what to do with it, scream. Scream into a pillow. My favorite, I tell everyone to do this one. My favorite, 3 weeks after my husband died, I was running errands, all kinds of things were going on. I went to the car wash, and when I got in the car wash, I put on a song that was related to him, and I let the car wash take me through. And for the next 5 minutes, I had the radio on full blast. I had the car wash on and I screamed my guts out. By the time I got out of there, I felt so much better. So, sacred rage, you're right on track, ladies. All right. Moving up to the solar sacral chakra, we have grateful optimism, which is a joyous view of the future. I hope you guys are seeing those because I know the sun's a bit bright. I'm still figuring out camera angles. You're going to have to forgive me. I do watch these after to see what's going on so I can fix things. Thank you for being here at the beginning of my channel, by the way. I really, really appreciate your support because I'm so excited to be doing this for you. I've been wanting to do this for years. I know I'm way off topic, but I've been wanting to do this for years. I have set up channels. I've started, I've faltered, I've started, I've faltered. I'm so excited to do this now. Okay. I get up in the morning. I can't wait to do my readings. This is so good. So I am super excited to be here. Thank you for being here with me. Back to the sacral chakra, right? All right. That was a ramble, but I just want to just share my gratitude and appreciation. All right. Grateful optimism in the sacral chakra. So obviously the biggest issue that we are having in the sacral chakra at the moment is due to the revelations of an online academy, right? And this is where the sacral chakra is where sex and sexuality, reproduction lives, right? Elimination lives here, but sex and sexuality and relationships live here, which is why it always hurts so much in here when you get a divorce or you have a breakup. It's like, and your periods get really bad and all of those kinds of things. It's because it's all down in here where we embody that. The fact that the grateful optimism card is coming up based on this card. And I didn't even want to come on here and talk about this particular subject again, but this is what's coming through the cards. This uprising, this rage, and then seeing the response from the male collective. Grateful optimism. So I know every man who is currently really stepping up, I am saying thank you, right? And I think as horrid as all of this is, there's a lot of us that would still really like to have a partner. And this has been absolutely gut-wrenchingly, heartbreakingly painful. But I think we're seeing a shift. It's not quick. Obviously, it's not going to be quick, and it might get brushed under the rug, but I don't think so. Not with this card, this summoning power card coming up. This is not going to get brushed under the rug. This is going to get really noisy, and people thought it was a psyop, but even as a psyop, it's going to get very noisy. Just based on the energies that this card gave me. But this card is looking, you can see how she's looking toward the future. This is a future focused card. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go out on a little limb here because we haven't even done this for a week yet, but I'm going to say with the intuitions that I have been getting around this situation plus these two cards, that this is actually going to turn out really okay in the end. It's obviously, we're in the very beginning, in the muck and the mire and the awfulness of everything. But I really do feel that this is the start of humanity getting control over things again. Because when you get to the bottom, there's nowhere else to go. When you heal the problem, which is at the bottom, and that's what they are doing amongst themselves currently. Men are calling out men, right? Because they're the only ones that can fix this. Once they get to a certain point, women will be able to jump back in. And once women and men start working together again, I think a lot of tables are going to turn. And that is the feeling that keeps coming to me over and over. So I feel really happy. Everyone else is like, I'm miserable, I'm depressed. I'm like, I am so happy because I am seeing the changes that I've been waiting for a long time starting to happen. Moving up into the solar plexus, we have precognition, psychic ability, and future vision. So one of the things you should know about the solar plexus is this is where your gut instincts come from, okay? This is where your soul lives. Because your psoas muscle, it's the only muscle that connects the upper body to the lower body, starts where the solar plexus is in your back. So it starts at T12 and it comes across the body and it inserts in the front of the hip, okay? So it is directly behind the solar plexus. All right, so your soul lives here. And the psoas, the reason I bring it up is because it is considered to be the seat of the soul muscle. So they are working in this psoas muscle is connected directly to your solar plexus, which then allows you to have your gut instincts, right? Those butterflies you get in your stomach when you are around somebody, the weird feelings you get, the sudden need to purge your digestive system, all those kinds of things, they come from your gut. Also, if your gut health is off, it messes up your third eye because there's a connection, there's an axis between your gut and your brain. And if your gut health is off, your brain is not always going to work right either. So making sure that your gut health is good to keep your ability to access your intuition is really important. So we talk about this power, the summoning power piece here. Well, your solar plexus is all about your power, your empowerment, your power, right? Empowerment is down lower. Power is here. This is masculine. You need your intuition. You need your intuition. So if you are not connected to yourself intuitively, if you are not embodied, if you are not sitting in your root chakra and then asking those questions, it is time for you to get embodied. It is time for you to summon that power, okay? really sit down there, because that's where our power is. I mean, that's where our center of gravity is. That's why we can get on our hands and knees, put our hands behind our backs, and go down to the floor and come back up. Men's center of gravity is up here. Ours is in our hips. It's by design. So utilize that to your benefit, okay? Stay focused. Even when you're out walking, stay focused on staying down in your hips so that you can access this. But when you have your intuitive powers online, that makes it a lot easier to know what your next steps are when you're summoning this power here, okay? Intuition is what guides you through life. And speaking of intuition guiding you through life, in your heart, up comes the clairvoyance card. So clairvoyance is about clear seeing. It's a third eye gift. It's about seeing. So extrasensory perception is, and the clairs are all about your extra senses. So every sense that you have has an extrasensory piece to it. And this is my cat, Pip. Hello, off you go. All right. So in your heart, clairvoyance, inspiration, interpretation, and trust. Whew. Today feels very much like, based on, like, these cards are really powerful. Like, this heart is really feeling very, very strong in my own heart. Okay. I feel like this card is talking about, okay, I don't know why it's saying this, but this card, the clairvoyance card in the heart position, is talking about using discernment. We as women are very loving creatures naturally, right? I mean, we birth children. But this is about using discernment in who gets access to that loving side of you. I think a lot of us give love to people who don't deserve to be in our energetic circle. Oh, yes, that's choking me up just a tiny bit. There's a lot of people who don't deserve to be in our energetic circle that wouldn't pour water on us, because that's not what I want to say, but who wouldn't pour water on us if we were on fire. Those people don't deserve to be in your circle. And this card is asking you to use clairvoyance, clear seeing. Clearly see who and what is getting your loving attention. Because it's important that you set that boundary for yourself to contain your energy so that you're not leaking energy into places where it's not being appreciated, where it's not being utilized properly, where it's being taken advantage of. Okay, so as you're stepping into your power, remember that you need your intuition online, and you need to be very discerning about that and about who gets access to any of that. You need to really, this feels very much like, as much as we're happy that men are starting to do the work, and men are calling out other men and all of those things, okay? These three cards are saying, get grounded, trust your intuition, and follow, I love this phrase, but follow the breadcrumbs, because that's how I've gotten through the last few years, is by following the breadcrumbs. But this really is a step-by-step, just listen to what's being brought to you in the form of whatever it is, whether it's music or nudges or, signs or numbers, or you know how it goes, okay? So coming up to the throat chakra, we have portal, infinite mind, awakening consciousness. So this card comes right back to the summoning power card. This card is, firstly, it's talking about how this rage is finally getting women to speak up in a way collectively, that now we're finally starting to be heard. That the rage that we have all contained for so long is creating a portal to something new. So we're going back to this grateful optimism card. the fact that we're speaking out, speaking up, and returning the favor is creating a portal to something new through our throat chakra, through our communication, through our saying no, and really saying no and having strength in numbers. I was going to put it down and get the next card, but it said no, not quite done. But it's not telling me. So I'm going to hang on to it while I pick up the next one, which is fascinating. What an interesting read today. So in the third eye position, which is your clairvoyance position, look what it says. You cannot make this stuff up, ladies. You just cannot. Healing the heart, the power of self-love. Okay, so your heart and your third eye are clearly have some connections going on right now. Using that discernment we talked about over here will help protect you while you allow people to come into your world that heal the things for you that they didn't break. For the longest time, I thought I wanted a man in my world to help me carry the weight of everything that I have been carrying. And that didn't happen. But you know what did happen? I had girlfriends step in and help heal things they didn't break. And they did it because they loved me. And in doing that, in healing my heart, it has really given me so much more space in my head because there's no more overthinking. And when the overthinking goes, that opens up your ability to tap into your intuition, to tap into that clairvoyance, that inner knowing, that inner knowledge, right? This journey is going to help us all heal our heart over time. Again, not happening today, but this feels like a very future-focused kind of reading today, where it's saying that here's where we are and here's what we're moving to. Okay? So then the last card is the crown chakra, which is loss, lack, fear, and victimization. So the first thing that's coming to me, like wants to spill out of me, is that women have leaned on spirituality and have ended up here. That we believed in so much of what we were taught about spirituality and what it is. We did all the things, you know, we did the meditations, we went to the retreats, we, you know, fixed our inner children, we talked to our divine feminines, we've done all these things, right? To end up in this. To end up feeling like it didn't matter because we still lost everything anyway. So why would I continue to connect myself to something that has created this kind of a mess? I don't know. Why would we? The guides are telling me that this was a collective lesson, that we had to learn this painfully to be able to unlearn it so it doesn't happen again. This feels like it's the last time humanity goes through anything like this, because even the men are calling for a matriarchy, that the patriarchy has destroyed everything good, right? And the men are calling for a matriarchy. So we've lost everything, all of us. I'm sure if you're following me, I'm sure you have a story, and I am sorry that you do. I have multiple stories. But you know, from those stories come wisdom. the wisdom to do better, the wisdom to know better, the wisdom to show others how to not walk in your footsteps. And that's our job. As for many of us, many of you that are following me, you are, in your midlife somewhere. So we are now the example for the younger generations. And thankfully, they've been setting a good example for us about this whole decentering men. So hallelujah, women, all the way up and down the generational ladder there. But it's time for us to stop looking at what we lost and start teaching other women how to not end up like this. And the more we use this voice, the more we open this portal, the more we heal our heart, the better off humanity is going to be as a whole. So there you go. That is today's reading. I hope there was something in there for you. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your energy with me. I do have personals open, so if you are looking for some guidance of your own, that is to your own specific situation, please feel free to reach out. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Remember, stay grounded in your root chakra. I love you.